The Dan Townley Breakfast Show. Weekdays 8 till 10 on Six Towns Radio.
That is very true. And joining me on the phone right now, a man that went viral with very heavy political views through the medium of a character called Jonathan Pie. That man is Tom Walker. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm alright, thank you very much for joining me this morning on The Breakfast Show. Let's talk about you first. So, you started off before Jonathan Pie, you were an actor, right?
I was an out-of-work actor for...
We've lost Tom. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get in touch with him again whilst we play a bit of Green Day. We'll come back. We will have Tom, I promise.
The Dan Townley Breakfast Show. Weekdays 8 till 10 on Six Towns Radio.
Bit of a technical hitch. That's what happens with live radio. However, he should be there right now on the phone. Tom Walker. Good morning, Tom.
Hello.
Hello.
If it was Jonathan Pie, he'd be shouting at you right now.
I know. It's the pure irony of getting it wrong to the man that is Jonathan Pie. You were saying before we went off air that you started off as you were an actor before Jonathan Pie came around.
Yeah. I was an out-of-work actor, and I thought, I will. I've been out of work a long time, and I thought it's time to give up, really, but I'm not going to go out without a fight. So I did a couple of videos about this character that was in my head, and one of them went viral, and I've ran with it ever since, really. And I'm on my second live tour of the country, and it's brilliant. I'm having a great time.
With people knowing you from the videos and the 3-minute videos daily, the videos that you come out with, do people kind of struggle to understand the difference between Tom and Jonathan? Do you get that mixed up quite a lot?
Yeah, quite often. And also, I think some people sometimes have difficulty understanding that it's just satire. And satire is about looking at things from a different angle sometimes. So I do find it kind of odd when people take it very personally if he says something they disagree with. It's about having diversity of opinion. That's what politics should be about. And it's kind of what my new show is all about, that this idea that just because someone thinks differently or votes differently to you, it doesn't necessarily make them a bigot or stupid. Diversity of opinion is just as important as any other type of diversity. And, so I think the satire is more balanced than he is, should we say.
Do you tend to, when obviously the comments come in on the videos with you've got a large audience through YouTube, Facebook and Twitter seeing these videos, when you read the comments of people who don't get it, is it hard for you to kind of distance yourself from the character? And
no, I'm getting better at taking that, and it's part of the debate, isn't it? No one's going to agree with him all the time. I do find it kind of odd, I've got some really great fans in the comedy world, but I also have some people in the comedy world that aren't fans of it and are quite public about that, and I find that a bit odd. But no, I think it's part of the debate. You're not supposed to agree with him, and it is just satire. It's fiction. He's a fictional character, and so sometimes he gets it wrong, sometimes he contradicts himself, sometimes he undermines what he's saying by saying a rude joke, and that's half the fun of it, I think.
Do you ever get, because you film in public places, I mean, it's not studio based at all, you go out as a roving reporter, do you ever get people coming up in the street as if it's a real news report and kind of watching that might not necessarily have seen the videos before and are not quite sure what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few occasions where sort of a young family will walk past and they'll be like, "Oh, look, here's the presenter," and I'm like, "Seriously, you do not want your kids to listen to this." You know what I mean? So that has happened a few times. But also, if I'm in a suit filming, people recognise me a lot, and they can sometimes scupper the odd take. But generally, if people know who I am, generally they're followers, and by virtue of that, they're fans. So it's always nice and generally pretty well-meaning. And I'm always good to sort of, meet the fans. I don't want them to think I'm as angry or as belligerent as he is. So I'm always happy to say hi and take a selfie if that's what people want,
Do you feel that you need to do that a bit more than anybody necessarily would if they weren't so angry in character? Do you think you have to go the complete opposite way?
it's a little bit of a charm offensive every now and then, just to remind them that no, he isn't real. I am, so yeah, I try and be as friendly as possible to fans, because they're, it's great that, and let's face it, that those are the ones that are coming to see my show, and those are the ones that are sharing my videos. So it's a pleasure to say hi and have a chat with them and chat to them about politics. It's part of the job, and it's part of the job that I enjoy.
Now, you mentioned in the comedy world, some people really support and really get what you're doing, and then there's a section of people that have not no intention to understand, but they just refuse to kind of understand you as the character. And it's almost like from the outside looking in, obviously I'm not aware of any personal circumstance from yourself. I'm not trying to talk to personally for you, but from the outside looking in, it's hard as a comedy fan to understand why people would have that opinion and not just go, oh, I get it. It's character work. What from your side?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you kind of understand that?
Because politics is very personal. It's very personal. It's within you, and therefore, when someone disagrees with your personal politics, you can take it really personally. And he does point out not only the problem with the Tories, the problem with Trump. He also points out the problem with the Guardian reading liberal elite. And Guardian reading liberal elite don't like to be told that they don't always get it right. So I do understand why it can be personal. People take it very personally when he says something that they disagree with. But that's what politics is all about. And I think if he can create debate rather than stifle debate, that has got to be a good thing. But, satire, I think a lot of the younger generation think what I do is brand new, whereas actually the older generation get it because they remember satire in the days of where it was an angry man shouting about the Alexis Sale or Ben Elton, so they kind of get it. I think the younger generation think this is brand new, and takes a little while for them to kind of get what I'm doing. But all satire is, I think, is looking at politics or looking at something from a slightly different, skewed angle. That's all it is, and generally, I hope that I get it right, even if he gets it wrong sometimes.
With Jonathan Pye, the character, you have got more, and you mentioned like the generation divide of people will get it over a certain age because of what happened, with the likes of Ben Elton. But I think you've got more people talking about politics in terms of a younger Facebook, YouTube generation, the social media generation, where people will learn more than reading the papers or sometimes watching the news. We'll go to somebody like Jonathan Parker. Okay, so I know this guy is angry about something. You get the story out there as well as getting an opinion from a character out there as well. So is that something that you were keen to do? Or
I hope so.
That's come with it?
I mean, certainly with the last election, I thought, this is an opportunity. Maybe Pye won't be around for another election, so what can I do here? So I took very, very seriously the idea of trying to get certainly young people to register to vote, to at least register to vote. It really is a privilege and an honour to be able to vote and to take part in a democratic thing. To take part in democracy is important, and that is once every 4 or 5 years you do get a voice and you can make a difference. And it doesn't matter which way you vote, just vote, even if it means turning up and spoiling your paper. Turning up is more important than anything. And then also about getting young people to persuade people of their arguments rather than shutting people down that disagree with them. Not everyone that votes Tory is horrible. Not everyone that voted Leave is stupid. Far from it. And by saying those sorts of things, that everyone that voted Trump is a misogynist, I don't think it helps. And you're never going to persuade those people to vote otherwise unless you engage with them and listen to what they have to say. I must say that the show is a lot funnier than I'm being right now. I just want to point out, it is a comedy show. I think there are some important themes in it.
I think that's the key to comedy in general, is if it's got a serious undertone and you can stand there and point and laugh at it, people will take it in more because you go, we'll break those barriers of we're being told what to think. You're allowing your audience through the videos to come up with their own opinion, even though if Jonathan's views are completely against yours or completely with your views, you're allowing people to think about that. With your stage,
I think so.
Carry on. Sorry,
say that again. Sorry.
No, you carry on. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
I've forgotten what I was going to say.
It's all right. With your stage show,
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the live audience aspect there. Do you tend to find people trying to join in, trying to shout out, or is it more it's the theatre audience?
It is a theatrical conceit. It is a theatre show. Of course, it's stand-up. Of course, it's comedy. But there is drama in it, and there's a beginning, middle, and end, and a structure. You generally find that people shout out, thinking they're helping, thinking. And I've had to shout down a couple of people in this week, in my warm-up week, kind of going, I don't care what your opinion is, and no one else in the audience does. They're here to watch my opinion and then go home and dissect in the pub whether I was right or wrong. I think people, it's generally well-meaning. But what they don't understand is that usually, unless it's in a comedy club setting, heckling can really derail a show. And if you're not liking something, if you were watching a play and you didn't like it, you'd sit through to the end and go, well, I didn't really like that. But it's a convention of stand-up comedy that people can shout out and tell you you're rubbish. And I'm getting better at dealing with that, But I don't think it's... I don't invite heckles.
Is that certainly something that comes from... the fact that you're from an acting background rather than a stand-up background? Do you think that's a
yeah? I certainly approach it from an artistic level as an actor. It's a script that I learn and I hone and I rehearse it to within an inch of its life. I don't rehearse it as if it's a stand-up show. I rehearse it if it's a play. I don't know if that's what most stand-ups do, but that's I approach it like it is an hour and 15-minute monologue. For this character and me as an actor to perform rather than a stand-up show. That's the way I approach it, but it is obviously ostensibly a stand-up comedy show, absolutely.
Let's talk about Jonathan Pie, the character, because news stories consistently are coming out where would play right into the character's hands in terms of, Donald Trump being the president is, I mean... If bonkers, nothing happens, it's still bonkers, but it's there for the next 3 years. You've got 3 years of potential material if he lasts his full term. You've got everything that's happening in terms of the Brexit deal and the Labour Party going against themselves, the Tories going against themselves. Do you see the character getting bigger? Do you want to go further with this? Where's Jonathan Pie going to next? So you've got a tour show now. You're going on stage. You're touring the UK. Where does Jonathan Pie go from this?
Well, it would be great to see him on the telly. I'd love to know who he works with and who his colleagues are and what his home life is like. So there is that. But satirically, yes, the material keeps coming politically. Trump's White House and presidency never ceases to amaze. Brexit will be a bit of a bun fight for the next couple of years at least. And once that's done, one imagines we might have a change of leadership within the next couple of years in this country. So it's all happening, and it's all really exciting, and people want to know why it's happening. I think that's why Pie is so popular, is because he helps to explain the craziness. A little bit he helps to explain, or at least he manages to vent our frustrations out anyway,
So there's no intention of Jonathan Pie going anywhere then?
Not for the time being. I mean, I'm loving him at the minute. I'm enjoying this live tour more than I have anything else I've done with Jonathan Pie. So let's see what happens in next year or so, and hopefully he'll be around for a while, I guess.
You can see Tom as Jonathan Pie at the Victoria Hall on the 1st of March 2018 in the show. Jonathan Pie, back to the studio. You can get your tickets from www.hudtickets.com/Stoke, or you can go to jonathanpie.com. Tom, thank you very much for joining me this morning.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
We look forward to seeing you here in Stoke. Where can people find you on social media before you go?
I'm on Facebook, Jonathan Pie Reporter, and I'm on Twitter, Jonathan Pie News. So follow my stuff, take a look at some of my videos, and if you like the videos, I think you'll like the live show too.
Tom Walker, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.